Hello, I'm John Perigine from Audience Town, the Chief Revenue Officer. I'm here today with Raul. Raul, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hey, John. Raul Marinescu, President of Digital Sales at Allen Media Group. We are a media holding company with a traditional and linear TV broadcast and streaming assets. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate your help. Like I said, when we spoke offline, this video series is all about being the translation layer for like what is going on in advanced advertising and technology today, everything from CTV, like we're going to talk about, to data privacy and so on. And translate that for the real estate marketers in the real estate industry. So, with that being said, real estate has been on fire. More people are moving now than ever. And a lot of it's been driven by some things we control, some things we don't control. A lot of it's been driven by COVID, people's new work life situations, a lot of people working from home. There's been a mass exodus from big urban centers, moving out of state to Texas and Florida and the Carolinas. There's a big migration going on right now in the U.S. And United Van Lines did a survey on it, and it says a lot of the people that are moving are actually first time home buyers. And Zillow states that 46% of first time home buyers are millennials actually. So we start to like look at that as like a lot of people are moving more than ever in probably the last 10 years. The largest portion of that is millennials. And then when you look at it, how that intertwines with our world, eMarketer states that 86% of millennials, they actually watch their favorite programs, they stream their favorite programs, through connected devices. So in my simple head, I'm like, okay, great. There's a lot of people moving. There's people, millennials, and they stream. So connected TV must be a great place to reach people that are moving. So I jumped to that conclusion. But do a lot of millennials watch TV? Is it only millennials? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
A lot of millennials do watch TV, but it's not only millennials, and that's the beauty about streaming and television, and the second golden age of television that we really are in right now. You talked about this mass migration from the major cities for the metropolis areas and into other parts of the country. What we've seen is viewership across the country has grown across demos, across segments, across cities and states that normally wouldn't really consume streaming. And so I would say, yeah, it is predominantly driven by millennials. They're much quicker to adapt to connect their television to the internet and download an app and stream it. But it's not. We're talking about a vast amount of millennials, professionals, and even retirees finding a lot of valuable content that they want to watch on streaming television. If it's home improvement shows to vacations to just news, sports, and entertainment, you can find it all.
Yeah. What what would you say is like the major difference between connected TV and say traditional TV or national broadcast or local broadcasted TV? What are your thoughts?
So the flexibility from a viewer's perspective, even from an advertiser's perspective, when you think about traditional linear, there's really it's one too many. I am the broadcaster. I am sending out a signal into a market, and then everyone catches that signal if it's via a set-top box or the rabbit ears. And then that's that, right? I'm talking to everyone out there. It's not very effective. The beauty about streaming, the beauty about connected television, meaning any device like the one behind me that's connected to an internet connection, you can have more of a customized viewing experience. You can have a more targeted ad viewing experience as well too. And so the difference is vast. And when we're thinking about where television is transitioning, where television is going, it is streaming. It is becoming the hot topic that everyone is discussing right now. And so we're seeing advertisers, we're seeing, in 2020, when we're talking about, what a year, right? We've seen mass migration of people moving from urban areas to other parts of the country, but we've also seen the growth of streaming. And that meant content discovery, people looking for the type of content they want to find. And there's no better place than streaming to find vast amount of content. If you want to, remodel your home, there's a lot of content out there available for you to access to do that at your, you know, as you wish in real time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. A lot of our clients in the real estate industry, home builders, rental buildings, multifamily, even people looking to sell products to make a house a home. Um, a lot of our clients are like looking to sell or lease property. What do you think is different about real estate than maybe some of the consumer brands that maybe you might be working with today? And how should they be thinking about using connected TV to achieve maybe some of the marketing goals that they're looking for?
Yeah, so I genuinely think that connected TV is made for real estate. When you talk about what appeals to a potential home buyer, it's seeing that picture, is seeing a 3D tour into the house, right? It's sight, sound, motion. That's what television offers, right? So we're very much aligned. When you're trying to sell a piece of property, you're showing that. When you're trying to educate someone on a potential remodel, or it may be an insurance company trying to educate you on what works for your neighborhood, right? That those are the things that appeal to potential real estate clients looking to advertise in connected TV. So you're talking about personalization. So if you're in New York and your properties are in Europe, the ones you're trying to sell, then you can customize, you can target that DMA, and you can target it on contextually relevant content. So you can only be on DIY improvement shows, right? You can be on the top of, you can chase potential home buyers, right? We have a vast amount of data in our ecosystem that will identify homeowners that are looking to remodel, millennials who are buying their first home, and then those who are looking maybe to unload their home, and you're the realtor that will sell that home for them, right? And so the beauty about connected TV is that it brings all those elements that realtors do care about. Is you want to make sure your property shines, you want to make sure the product you offer shines, and connected TV is that connection between you and that viewer that actually is a qualified viewer for you to talk to, right? Versus taking a broadcast signal and say, hey, I've got this amazing property to sell, but the broadcast signal goes 100 miles out. Well, guess what? There's a lot of waste there. You can bring that last mile between you and the viewer much closer with connected TV.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that connected TV is super efficient. You're able to target it many different ways on a geo level,
Yeah.
down to maybe even household level. You can target it contextually by content.
Yep.
You can also target audiences, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's segments, there's unlimited amount of segments. You can do day parts. If you really care about that, you can day part your schedule so it only runs in certain times of the day. Maybe you exclude the weekends, maybe because you're out there, doing an open house, or your office is not open. You don't need to waste those impressions, right? Catch them when they're active and when you're working as well too. So you can do that. And of course, the data, right? The targeting the audience, not only contextually based on the type of content that the viewer is watching, but their behavior as well too. So there's a lot of third-party companies out there, we call them DMP, data management platforms, that gather all sorts of data from different sources, and us as platforms will layer that data. So we'll just layer that data, identify those users, and say, hey, this is it. This is a qualified profile that you're looking for. What an efficient way for you to reach an audience. There's little waste there.
Yeah. And then I imagine with all of that sophistication in the targeting, are you able to report on all of that? Are you able to bring all that to life in the data?
Absolutely right. It's one thing to say we can do it. It's one thing to actually run it, but you gotta show the proof, right? And so reporting is, it just validates everything that we just talked about, right? The ability to track a user on a certain device, to show the path of that user through the ecosystem, to say, hey, here's how many impressions we delivered against the segment that you wanted. Here's how it ran. In certain cases, you can add a little more metrics in terms of connecting that viewer straight to your site, so you can show attribution as well too. There's many ways. Reporting is critical to make sure that we build the confidence in our clients to say, yes, I will spend money on connected TV on with streaming platforms.
Yeah, cool, man. Many of our marketers um, are, over invested in Google and in Facebook. They put a lot of their, budgets there. They believe that's where a lot of their audiences are. There's big populations of people there. Last year, there's been a lot of changes with how marketers can target on Facebook and Google. They've actually removed a lot of the targeting, specifically for the move from there. Facebook removed any kind of signal that was like if someone was likely to move. It sounds like connected TV could be a good alternative to target people. Targeted branding, targeted reach, because you could still get people on a sight, sound, and motion, like you said, big screen, but targeted to the household where, if I'm in market to move, I might get an advertisement from a home builder, but my neighbor next door might get a different advertisement because they're not in market to move. So it's great to know that all that addressability is there, in connected TV.
Well, think about this too, right? So you've got millions and millions of advertisers on Google and Facebook, right? And here you are trying to stand out, right, in that same ecosystem. So you are using the digital dollars that you're putting into Facebook and Google. No doubt, they go to good use to a certain extent, but it's a hyper competitive space. How do you stand out when there's thousands of other realtors or potential service companies competing for the same attention that you're bidding on? It really comes hard to get the attention of those viewers or those users on those platforms. Well, with connected TV, it's not as competitive, right? We're talking about a lean back experience when people are at home. Maybe they're using that second screen. Maybe they're on their on their couch watching television, and they see your ad and they might just go look you up right away. It's not as competitive. When you talk about where the environment where your ad runs, it's full screen. You're the only one that the viewer sees, right? It's not you and everyone else, potentially everyone else, right? Down the line, everyone trying to compete for attention. And so here I am, in a limited screen, trying to try to consume the media that I came for on Facebook, and all of a sudden I'm trying to pay attention to everyone else here marketing. It's really hard. Versus connected television, it's you're right there in full view, non-skippable ad, right? So when you think about the difference between connected TV and YouTube, right? YouTube has conditioned viewers to skip those ads up to 4 seconds, right? In connected TV, we're not doing that. We're saying, hey, we're free, we're ad supported. We're gonna trade something here. I'm gonna give you amazing long form premium content, and you will give me your attention for a little bit so I can show you a couple of relevant ads to you. And that's the difference. And so when you're a realtor, when you think about where do I want to go and stand out and reach a unique audience that you don't find on those platforms. So think of it as an incremental reach. If you're committed to your Facebook and Google budgets, that's fine. How about taking a portion of that and allocating it to this new space, this new medium where you will get an incremental reach because those users are probably not there, right? And so you got to play a media mix that works very well for you and take advantage of it while it's still fresh and relevant for the viewers.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy, is having a holistic media mix and applying budget appropriately, and leveraging the different channels. One of the things that we do at Audience Town, is that and I'm going to get on a soapbox for a second. We're able to run an ad, I'll say on Local Now, targeted to someone that's a predictive mover on their 60-inch TV in their living room. and then retarget them knowing that we showed them an ad, on their phone. So just like you said, the second those two screens work really well together,
Yep.
and that's also the way that you can drive the attribution model, to work as well. So that's definitely great suggestions. That's why we're speaking to you, man. You're an expert at this stuff.
What can I say? This is a great
The
conversation.
last question, yeah, the last question I have, is really a topic that we like blew up last week. Was a lot of the changes that Google, made announcements of. Um, it sent a ripple, in the industry a little bit of like, oh my God, what's going on? I think a lot of people didn't necessarily read like all the words that were, in the article, because maybe they wouldn't have been so worried. But what are your thoughts on the changes that Google made last week? Does it affect like the connected TV world at all? What's going on, man?
I don't think it affects us. So, Google said that, we're not going to let you track users. We're going to limit you to, you as an advertiser to be able to target folks, or to track them, wherever whatever their journey is on a browser. It really doesn't affect CTV. In fact, it actually gives us a leg up and an advantage. And so we already are in a cookieless environment. We're already not tracking those users. We're just identifying the viewing behaviors and who those viewers are, and running segments to make sure that we have a qualified viewer in front of that screen. So if anything, it helps the connected TV ecosystem garner more share of those budgets, because now advertisers will see that this is a safe place, a compliant place for them to reach qualified viewers, and at the same time you can still close the attribution. Like you said, you can still find ways to close the attribution, and show metrics of the advertisers that, hey, they're, we got them here but they ended up here, and that's where you
Yeah.
want to be.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of it is the connected TV world was always cookieless. It,
Yeah.
it was it was never cookie based. It was always based on device IDs and user agents and other things we can get into like the weeds about that. But just to keep it high levels, it was never cookie based. And either is your phone, it's an ID, just like
Right.
it's an app, just like a connected TV app is an app. So therefore, you're able to do all these cool things without having to be relying on the cookie, which everyone also freaks out about it being removed. So it's a future proof medium, I would say.
Right, absolutely, it really is.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I think you've shared a lot of great points that our real estate clients and customers, and anyone in the real estate industry that watches this is going to be really interested in hearing, because you're at the tip of the spear, man. So this is great. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, thank you for having me.